Jake, I don't know if you want to start with opening statement or first.
Yeah, let me just say something real quick about the guys in our locker room. What a resilient group. We have some great young men in there who came together at a high level these last few days in a way that I don't know that any of us fully anticipated that level we could get to in a short amount of time. But they deserve so much credit. I'm so very happy for them and proud of them. And I just, I wanted to start with that. Two things. Let me have one more thing. Two things. One, two things happened in the last few days that just really helped me. One was a conversation with Holt a couple nights ago that it just gave me kind of a confidence in him talking to me. And I'm not going to get into any details of the conversation, but that was really helpful for me. And I'm so thankful for that conversation. I'm so thankful to God to give me the peace and just the comfort to fill into this seat in what's been a challenging few days. So outside of that, we'll go no questions.
All right, let's start. Adam, you got a mic?
Don't have a mic.
Where's the green mic? Steve.
Okay, well, Steve's got it.
Oh, there
Go
we
ahead,
go.
Steve. Yeah.
Jake, just from your standpoint, I mean, you talked about on Friday how you thought the first day of practice in this new situation was a positive day, and you thought some things had been accomplished. And I mean, to do so much in such a compacted amount of time and just have everybody buy in, just, I don't know what you're feeling about the way that everybody in your group came together to manifest this today.
Yeah, I told our guys before we went out, let's play how we've practiced the last few days. There was a great sense of urgency and pace to what we were doing. But I think you have to credit the leadership of our team. You have to credit our staff. And just we've talked about family for 3 days. We've talked about how important that is. And I felt like we came together. We were a true family. We played like it. We coached like it. So I think those two things, our staff and our players, the leadership of our players, were critical.
Coach Diebler, it looked like you were getting emotional there at the end after the win. What was kind of going through your mind?
I don't want to get emotional right now. I had to take a moment just to thank God for, just to thank God there after the game. And that made me emotional. Then going through the line, I was fighting it, and then my wife made it to the court, and then my parents, and it was trouble after that. I couldn't keep it in anymore. So, yeah, but I don't want to get too into those details because I will get emotional again.
Jake, what was the difference today in your eyes than maybe some of these recent games? Obviously, you have a lead, Purdue starts to cut into it. There's the chance to maybe have some of those same demons, but you guys don't. What was it?
We've talked about for 3 days of putting ourselves in the position you're talking about, where we have a lead down the stretch, and the motto all week has been stay aggressive and keep swinging. Told Roddy Gale after the game, I got no problem with you taking that three because you were open, you're a good player. Like, step up and swing and knock it down next time. And I think that mentality, was our guys embraced that. And obviously, listen, Jamison Battle was clutch down the stretch. Bruce Thornton hitting free throws. I wish I could say like it's just some miraculous coaching at that point, but good players stepped up. And I think the biggest thing was just the collective mentality of our family out there was we were going to stay aggressive the whole game no matter what.
Bruce pointed to that three as well, as he makes it, what happens then, he's okay with that being taken. How much is that the fine margins of this season where sometimes those threes don't go down? Today it didn't matter, but in some ways it has. Is that just like what college basketball is, and especially in the Big Ten?
In this league, the margins are so small. So small. And that's why, each day we're going to keep fighting to have a mentality moving forward. And I hope we make all those the rest of the season. If we don't, we're going to stay aggressive. We're going to keep swinging. I was really proud of just our aggressiveness defensively. I thought that was really good. But that's just kind of how we just want to be about that mentality moving forward.
Jake Russell, and Bruce said after the first media time out, your hands were shaking. What was going through your mind the first 5-10 minutes of the game?
Yeah, I'm tired right now. I feel like I coached really probably too hard in a couple instances, but you know, one of the guys on our staff comes up to me, he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm fine." I'm fine. He's like, "Well, you look a little flushed." I'm like, "Well, I'm hot. And I've been coaching hard, you know." But I was nervous going into this game. There's, you know, just full transparency. I was nervous, absolutely. But advice from you know, all the people that have reached out to me, including Gene, has been like, you got to be yourself. And so I just tried to stay true to that. And that was, yeah, he's probably right. I didn't know my hands were shaking. I'm trying to maybe hide that a little bit better next time.
So, about Bruce, he and Lance were really going out a lot in the first half on offensive and defensive end. We have to say that Bruce's offense, I mean, attacking Lance, I mean, he's such a great perimeter defender. I
thought Bruce had some huge buckets for us in the second half. I don't exactly know the timing and in the score. Was it after, you know, a specific thing Purdue did? But I was really impressed with his just mentality, and I felt like he was not going to let us lose. And that's what you want in a point guard. And it certainly, that wasn't exclusive to him. We had, like, it was just collectively, guys were so invested into doing their job at a high level to help this team, and we're going to lean into that, you know, starting on practice here on Tuesday.
Well, you need to hear first.
Jake, the rotation, I think it was 11 deep in the first half. Bruce was mentioning it's just going to be high tempo, high intensity. You're going to need a lot of guys, energy-wise. What gave you the confidence to go? At one point, there was 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores in. Where was your confidence in those young guys in a key moment in the first half?
Yeah, that was, give you some insight into the dialogue on the bench. I don't know that was the most well-received lineup of the first half, but I'm not necessarily sure that in the game I was thinking through that, you know, the age of guys. We've had a great deal of experience, you know, up to this point in the season, and I think you have to learn to lean into that. Certainly, you know, the youth of this team has been well documented, but we believe in the guys in the locker room. And one of the things we really wanted to do was get guys to like just exhaust themselves on the court. Felt like we had more guys than I can ever remember, you know, kind of like, "Coach, I need one." And I thought that was, we'll talk about that as a team. I thought that was really fun to see, and guys stepped up, even if it was, you know, Austin Parks in his limited minutes, but had a huge bucket, so it was a lot of fun.
And then a veteran, Zed Key, Bruce said that was the best defense he's ever seen him play. His effort today against Zach Edey, Coach Painter said that's something that he's not had trouble with this year in terms of keeping the ball. Was that something you guys went in with a game plan? Was that something that Zed just did, swiping the ball away as many times as he did? What was your kind of reaction to that?
Zed, I'll say this, Zed and I had a conversation, and he deserves a ton of credit because he followed through with everything he said in that conversation. So that was, I think it speaks to just kind of who he is. We didn't say Zed every time Zach Edey goes up for a shot to swipe down. That was a feel thing, I think, for him, and he's done that, you know, throughout his career. You probably remember some plays that he's been able to do that. So it's just some huge plays. Huge. It was great for us to be able to get out and help us get out in the transition more. So it was great by Zed.
Jake, congrats. How much you said with Bruce, it was just like he wasn't going to let you lose. And when we talked to Painter a few minutes ago, he said that this score would have been the same whether you were coaching or whether Chris was coaching. How much of the difference in this is maybe something like that, where Bruce, you saw it in Bruce, he wasn't going to let you lose?
Yeah,
getting that out of guys.
Our players stepped up down the stretch when they made a run. I can't remember how close they cut it.
They tied it.
They tied it.
Yeah. So, the collective mentality of our group, I thought it just staying aggressive, staying in the moment was the difference. And Bruce led that. Bruce and Jameson led that for us.
what is the challenge of getting that consistently? Because obviously, maybe some of that has waned from here to there. What is the challenge now with what you have left in the season of trying to get that same mindset and that same, I guess, collective attitude going forward?
We have to practice that way. We have to practice that way and practice with a sense of urgency that we have the last few days and keep doing that moving forward.
Everybody kind of had their own emotional moment on the court, every player, every coach, but when you got back to the locker room, there's a lot of players that don't go through what this week has been. What was the collective message and what was that like to actually be able to celebrate?
Yeah, it was just I think the thing that I remember most about the locker room, other than just being soaking wet, was like just the different embraces and the way guys they hugged me and I hugged them, and again I got emotional in there just thinking about how proud I was of them, and this is all about them and serving them well and helping them finish this season well. And for them to buy into just the small tweaks we've tried to make in the last few days was really special. I just remember being hugged by guys and just how happy I was for them and how proud of them I was.
And real quick, did you do anything different for your game? Any routine different as the head coach as opposed to an assistant?
I tried to keep things as close to similar as possible. I wish I had another hour. I felt like the time before the game went faster today than it had before. But listen, our staff, just want to talk about our staff real quick. They deserve as much credit as our players for just focusing on the task at hand and just, again, buying into some of the tweaks, and our defensive game plan was just phenomenal. Our offensive game plan was great, and I had comfort just kind of knowing who was surrounding me and with me there. So it's they don't get to sit up here. They probably should be here with me. They deserve a ton of credit too.
So between Felix and Zed, one foul's out, one's got 4. They're both real aggressive with Edie, but I think only maybe 1 or 2 of them were either on the shot. A lot of them were on the catch. Was that part of the plan? Was if he gets close, be aggressive, and we put him at the line, we do, but we're not going to let him get open looks. If you pick up fouls, so be it, but no open looks.
Yeah, we tried to front him more than we have in the past, and we got some calls. We were tangled up a little bit. We tried to be really physical with them, and certainly got some calls against that. And it's really hard what we asked Felix and Zed to do, and then Felix to have the foul trouble he did, and have to kind of get him out and get him back in, and really no rhythm. I thought he kept trying to do his job at a high level. So you may look at the stat line and say oh, Felix, what? No, he was really, really important. And I think him just trying and battling, and it's almost like you just keep coming, and Zach Edey hopefully just felt it a little bit more from a standpoint that we were able to wear him down with the physicality and putting different guys on.
So then you go on the road next, which has been tough lately. How do you build on a big win like this now going on the road later this week?
Yeah, I think it's like I said earlier, we have to practice well. We have to maintain the same pace and urgency in practice that we've been able to do the last few days, and we feel as a staff that's going to set us up to best have success in every game moving forward. And certainly, we have to be ready for a good team on the road. Two good teams on the road this week.
I want to get 3 more in here. If we can limit it to 1 question each. Noah, Andy, and then Jeff.
Jake, on Friday you talked about the importance of just being yourself. In what ways do you think you did that today?
I think I coached with a lot of passion and just a lot of love for our guys, and that's been ingrained in me from the time I just remember watching my dad coach when I was younger, and just how hard he coached, but it was in a pretty positive way. And I tried to have real dialogue with guys throughout the course of the game. There were times it was a little on the lighter side, and times it wasn't. So I think the passion and energy. If I'm asking our guys to do that, I have to lead by example of that, and it's just who I am.
You talked about, ramping up the pace and kind of the tempo on the offensive end coming into this game, but it felt like the defensive intensity at times was what made a really big difference in this one for you guys. So 22 points off turnovers, and I think also a lot of contributions from not just Zed but Evan down low there, and Felix, like you said. Just what stood out to you about the defensive effort, and what was important in that, these few days preparing for this game?
Yeah, that aggressiveness that I talked about is for both sides of the ball, and the pace element that we've been talking about is just there's an urgency we want to operate with, and I felt like we were able to do that on both sides. Tried to mix in some pressure, full court today, and listen, we had some guys like just individually step up and guard really hard, and I thought that was important. But we want to be aggressive on both sides, certainly.
Coach, it just seemed like the guys played more loose today. There was the urgency you talked about. I like Roddy coming down and taking that shot, not afraid to miss. Is there something there too? Just like, hey, let's just go play ball, and we're gonna do all the things we want to do. Let's just play ball and have fun. Was there some of that today too?
I think we prepared to win this game, and I told our guys last night, like, we're going in this to win, and we're not going in this to be close. They had earned the right to play well, and so I think that aggressive mentality. I told them a couple timeouts, like, stay aggressive, keep swinging, and our staff, we kept echoing that, and I think it just as the game went on, they believed, and it's going to be important moving forward that we keep that same mentality. There's going to be certainly adversity moving forward in games and beyond, but we want to keep that mentality.
Jake, thanks.
Thank you, Jake.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jake.